Welcome to another edition of Serving St. Clair County, and this is Sheriff Tim Donnellon, and with me today I have Deputy Cyndy King. And Cyndy, welcome for coming.
Thank you, Sheriff. Nice to be here.
All right, well, Cyndy is our D.A.R.E officer, and we're going to talk a lot about the history of D.A.R.E. Cyndy does it full-time for the Sheriff's Office, but before we get there, Cyndy, tell us about yourself. You're a longtime veteran of our department and a longtime law enforcement veteran.
I came to the Sheriff's Office in 1991, and before that I was in Arlington, Virginia. I started there in Road Patrol in 1975.
All right.
And when I came to the Sheriff's Office, I worked for about 3 years in the Drug Task Force.
I remember we worked together out
there.
We
did.
But and in Arlington, you did all kinds of different stuff
All
over
different
there.
things. Road Patrol, I was an evidence technician. I was, when I left there, I was the sergeant in charge of the burglary unit.
And that's a very large department, metropolitan area, right outside of D.C. there, so a lot of activity.
Very busy.
And relocated, and we were lucky enough to, I should say, our predecessor, Dan Lane, made a good move and grabbed you. And
It's
you and
good
I were
to be
working,
here.
Yeah, we were working narcotics together back there when you started. Well, tell us about D.A.R.E. here. I know you've been teaching D.A.R.E. with us for a long time, and I know it started out in the West Coast, but give us a little bit of background on it.
Well, D.A.R.E. started in 1983 by a Los Angeles police officer who really thought that law enforcement wasn't enough for drug prevention. And so he developed a program that sort of worked its way east. Mm-hmm. And our department, it first started in St. Clair County actually in 1987 with the Marysville Police Department.
Okay, and that would have been then probably Mark Thorner.
It was.
Yeah.
It was then Officer Thorner. He taught D.A.R.E. And then, of course, it came to the Sheriff's Office, and it was either 1990 or 1989, I believe. And we've had it ever since.
So one patrolman in Los Angeles, 1983 started the whole ball rolling.
Wrote the whole program out, and then just really thought that it was important. It was a totally new concept to have a uniformed police officer in the classroom to teach children drug prevention, drug use prevention.
Well, I know that we get on the bottom floor, and I remember, in 1990 I was working in the department as well, and out in narcotics, and we've had a number of D.A.R.E. officers.
We
We
have.
had Sergeant Deshawn, who was then deputy. He's retired. From there,
It was Officer, now Captain Muxlow.
Captain Ron Muxlow.
And he was the officer from 1995 till 1999, and then I became the D.A.R.E. officer.
And we've also had, I believe, Lieutenant Matt Paulus.
Right.
He taught some D.A.R.E.
He did some. He did middle school programs for a while.
Middle school programs,
right.
Okay.
And right now, we're very lucky because the Sheriff's Office has actually 4 trained and certified D.A.R.E. officers. And I'm the only one that really teaches D.A.R.E. full-time.
Right.
But then we have Deputy Old, who's the
School resource
officer in Anchor Bay. So he teaches D.A.R.E. in the Anchor Bay elementary schools.
Okay.
And then Officer Bonner and Officer Rail each teach D.A.R.E. in one school. And they're regular patrol officers, and then they go in and teach in one classroom, one school.
Well, it's kind of nice because it keeps their certification up.
It really is.
I know that Deputy Rail was assigned school resource officer prior, and we kept that certification up because it's a really in-depth school to become a D.A.R.E. officer. And when you get a deputy qualified, you don't want to lose that qualification.
And not only that, D.A.R.E. school is hard.
I hear it's very
hard.
Yes.
And a lot of people actually don't pass D.A.R.E. school. So
how long is that?
It's a 2-week school, but it's a very intense school, and it's not even just 8 hours a day. It's many more than that.
And there's a big exam that you have to take. Wow.
It's difficult.
A lot of stuff. Well, let's talk a little bit about Darren. He's our mascot there.
He is. Oh, Darren is the mascot, and he's a well-loved person. There's all different kinds of Darrens. We call this classroom Darren.
This is classroom Darren. He's got his traditional black.
But that's because
shirt
he has his T-shirt on. Darren goes to the classrooms with us, and 5th grade students have a chance to hold him if they want to. It's totally their choice. But then Darren is part of the whole program because the cartoon Darren is in the workbooks and all throughout anything that you see Darren is part of it. So
he's it.
He's
And I
he's
know
the guy.
That, when D.A.R.E. started, the kids all got their shirts, which they still do, but that was the shirt, black and red. And
Was.
like I say at the D.A.R.E graduations, we wear those underneath every bulletproof vest and every drug raid we go in.
That's a pretty cool thing, Sheriff.
And now we've had blue ones and white ones and red ones and camouflage and you name it. This year they're white, right?
This year they're white.
They look pretty good. I tend to get lucky and pick one up usually sometime along the school year. But now we've got D.A.R.E in 75% of the school districts in the United States.
Nationwide.
Wow.
And 43 countries.
43 countries. That's amazing. Now in St. Clair County, how much? Tell us a little bit how much we're doing, because I know we're from one end of the county, from St. Ed's all the way down to
we really
26 Mile.
The way D.A.R.E is set up in St. Clair County, it's sort of, and I think it's a pretty typical way that it's handled in other states and other jurisdictions. If there is a police department in the municipality, for instance, in the city of Port Huron,
Yep.
That police department is actually responsible for the D.A.R.E program.
Sure, just like City of Yale does theirs. And
City of Yale does
Yep.
theirs. But any school that is actually in a township, the sheriff's office handles those schools. So we in the sheriff's office actually are in 7 different school districts because, for instance, in Yale,
Avoca,
we have Avoca and we have Farrell, which is where I do D.A.R.E in Avoca and Farrell. But then because the Yale Elementary School is actually in the city of Yale, that's a different police officer who does D.A.R.E in that city. And that's also true for the city of St. Clair and Marysville, et cetera. So we go, the sheriff's office does 7 different school districts in Yale and Memphis, Algonac, Anchor Bay, Port Huron. I'm missing someone.
East China?
And East China.
Yeah, and total how many elementary schools?
Oh, and Algonac, did I say? Yes. A total of 17 elementary schools.
So 17 different 5th grade classes
Yes.
we're hitting.
17 different schools, about 45 classes.
Wow.
And this year, the numbers sort of change. For instance, this year, for 2009, 2010, one of the Port Huron schools closed.
Yeah.
So that gave me an opportunity to offer D.A.R.E to Memphis, which we hadn't offered for many times. So this year, 2009, 2010, we actually, the sheriff's office has about 920 D.A.R.E students. That's 5th graders only.
Wow, and that's just us.
That's just us.
That's just us. And I got to tell you, I'm a big believer in the D.A.R.E. Having worked narcotics for many years and going to the D.A.R.E graduations for, seems like since the beginning of my career, you know, we're going to continue on that. But we do the lion's share of D.A.R.E in St. Clair County.
We do, and we're lucky that we're very lucky that you believe in it, Sheriff.
Well, it's supported, and I think the public supports it, the school district support it, the commissioners support it, and we understand that it's important. And it is important. Let's talk about the program they go through, because I mean that's quite a program. I have a D.A.R.E graduate this fall. He graduated, my 5th grader, and very proud of him because we have the whole curriculum, the posters. There's a lot to it. Let's talk about the program.
Well, the program is right now it's 10 or 11 weeks, and there's some alternate programs that can be added to that. But my program is 10 or 11 weeks, and it starts out by talking about the harmful effects of some of the drugs. And D.A.R.E actually focuses on what we call the gateway drugs, which is tobacco and alcohol. Inhalants is in there, but also marijuana. And those are called gateway drugs because there's been a lot of research that has said that if a person stays away from those drugs, they're much less likely to become involved in harder drugs.
They're going to be out of those circles.
And so, so D.A.R.E, because we're talking about 5th graders also, D.A.R.E, so we're talking like 10-year-olds, D.A.R.E really, in the 5th grade program, they focus on those drugs. After going through those drugs, then there's a whole part about peer pressure and how to resist peer pressure, negative peer pressure.
Different ways to say no.
Different ways to say no. And they actually, and one of the cool things about D.A.R.E is they're given an opportunity to practice saying no, which is really important.
Yeah, the skits. Yeah.
The skits, and they're kind of put on the spot to do that, and they only do it in the classroom, and it's a comfortable thing because it's with their own classmates. Sure. There is a part about violence also, and that's all part of sort of friendship how to treat each other
Sticking up for
properly and
sticking
that
up
kind
for
of
your
thing.
friends and helping out. How about the posters? Those
And, well, there's
those are always
homework
a lot of
assignments,
fun.
and D.A.R.E is fun. It's actually in the classroom, but there are homework assignments. There's the students do a warning label. They do an essay,
Yeah,
and
big essay.
they do the posters. And in St. Clair County, we are so lucky because Lamar Outdoor Advertising actually collaborates with us every year. The students do this poster, and we use those to decorate the gym at D.A.R.E graduation, which makes things sort of look festive for D.A.R.E graduation. But then all of these posters go to the billboard contest. And just this week, Lamar is actually installing a poster that was chosen from all the people that are taking D.A.R.E right now. And it's going to actually be on a billboard for an entire month. It's going to be a very cool thing.
Can we say who that student is yet? Do they know?
It's an Avoca student.
Okay.
And I actually haven't told them
All
yet.
right, all right.
It's an Avoca student.
All right.
And
Yale School District.
Yale School District, and the poster, the billboard's actually going to be kind of close to KPAC.
Excellent. Off of 69.
I'm not sure Mr. Riley of Lamar Outdoor
Sure.
Advertising told me KPAC though.
Perfect. Well, when we come back, we're going to take a look at an actual D.A.R.E graduation at Thomas Edison Elementary. And this is Sheriff Tim Donnellon serving St. Clair County.
In D.A.R.E, I learned that doing drugs is very wrong. I learned that doing drugs is always life-threatening. I learned that drugs make some people feel good, but is deadly and addictive. I think drugs are disgusting and will shorten your lifespan a lot. Drugs kill and hurt people and the earth. The skills I've learned in D.A.R.E is to always say no. I pledge to make wise decisions about drugs and alcohol. Thank you, Deputy King.
This year in D.A.R.E, I have learned that doing drugs is the worst thing you can do to your body, and you can't have a normal life. And I want to have a normal life, don't you? So I'm never going to do drugs. Also, I have learned that if you do drugs, you won't have as many friends as you used to have because they might be scared of drugs or they don't like your behavior. Also, cigarettes have more than 200 chemicals in them, including rat poison, carbon monoxide, tar, and carcinogens. And there are 9 ways to say no when someone is trying to pressure you to do drugs. In D.A.R.E, I have learned everything about how bad drugs are for you and everything else about them. And it makes me think about it, and I know that I am never going to do drugs. I, Megan Wilton, promise to my parents, Mrs. Kohanov, and Deputy King, that I will never, ever do drugs no matter what. Thank you, Deputy King, for teaching me not to do drugs.
No, I won't do drugs. D.A.R.E is a great program for young kids that everyone should do. In D.A.R.E, I learned how to say no to drugs. I also learned how to not be pressured by peers for bad reasons. We learned how drugs harm you and how companies try to get you to buy their product. Deputy King, our D.A.R.E officer, told us how smoking hurts you. If you smoke, you will get smelly breath, yellow teeth, and bad lungs. I'm definitely not smoking because it is the #1 cause of lung cancer. We learned how tobacco companies try to get you to buy what they're selling with fancy ads. It's not working on me because of D.A.R.E. I'm never going to use illegal drugs because I know how people get addicted. If you get addicted, your life goes downhill. In D.A.R.E, we learned about peer pressure. It's hard to avoid peer pressure because you want to fit in. Since I did D.A.R.E, I know how to say no in 7 different ways. For example, a normal no, the cold shoulder, or changing the subject. I pledge never to use drugs because I know about how they hurt you, all because of D.A.R.E.
I like the D.A.R.E program, and I learned about smoking and drugs are bad. Smoking is bad because they have tobacco, so they have yellow teeth. Smoking causes heart disease. Smoking causes breathing problem. Marijuana is bad. Marijuana users have more cold and upper respiratory problem. Smoking marijuana causes breathing problem. Marijuana affects your brain and your body. Alcohol is bad. Alcohol slows down the brain and body. Too much alcohol can slow down the body and lead to coma and death. Alcohol goes directly into your bloodstream and can increase your risk for a prosperity of disease. When I grow up, I won't smoke, I won't drink alcohol, and I won't use marijuana. I want to be healthy.
D.A.R.E is a very successful and great program for young kids. This program is to help students to be drug-free and learn the harmful ways of drugs. The program's not all about drugs. Many other things can be alcohol or peer pressure. There's a lot of ideas or tips to help you stay drug-free. Most of the time, it depends what you are good at. Example, like a guy offers you tobacco, you can add humor to the saying, make up a lie, change the subject, and more. If you're not good at these sayings, here's an easy way to say it. Just say no. Being drug-free is very important, and to me too. If you're not drug-free, then you might make some poor choices in life and regret it. Another thing, if you are drug-free, you may live a happier life. You can continue to do the things you love to do. Do you want to give up your hobby so you can do drugs? The answer should be no, but that's your choice. I promise not to do illegal drugs or any kind of drugs in my lifetime, and you should too.
D.A.R.E is something that I will never forget because I learned so many skills in it. Some examples would be just giving people the cold shoulder when they ask you to do drugs, ignore them, change the subject, or just walk away. I learned so many more skills, it would take pages to name them all. D.A.R.E also teaches you that it's okay to say no, and that you need to have self-confidence and self-respect. Everybody needs to know that you don't have to go along with the crowd. That helps you make healthy choices by letting you know that following the crowd doesn't usually help. Staying drug-free is important to me because I have goals in my life. My goals are to get a good education, go to college, get a great job, and have a great life. I can't do that if I smoke, do marijuana, or am addicted to alcohol. I know that there are people who care about me, but I also care about myself. The D.A.R.E program taught me how to resist negative peer pressure. We were put into groups so we could role play what to do if we were trying to say no to negative peer pressure. I also learned that when somebody says to you, "Come on, everybody does it," it's just not true. Don't believe them. Some people think that if you talk to your kids about drugs, then they'll do them. The D.A.R.E program tells you about what will happen if you do use drugs. That way, you'll know what they'll do to your body and you'll want to say no. The drug stories have had an effect on me by teaching me a lot more than what I knew about drugs. The stories taught important things like the number of poisons in cigarettes, how marijuana affects the body, and how too much alcohol can affect the body. I have always known that drugs are not for me. The D.A.R.E program has just helped to strengthen that fact. That is why I, Tim Baker, promised myself and my family to stay off drugs my whole life.
I think that D.A.R.E is a great program to run for students of all ages. The program teaches kids and teenagers why not to do drugs, smoke, and many other things. Did you know that 93% of 8th grade students do not smoke? When I grow up, I will put the skills that I have learned in D.A.R.E to good use. Deputy King told my class a story about a man named Todd. Todd was taking marijuana, so he had to do community service. For that, he helped out at the police department. Deputy King knew Todd was a good kid, but she felt bad for him. When you do marijuana and other sorts of drugs, you lose brain cells, but they're not like hair. You chop it off and it grows back. Brain cells don't grow back. So whenever Deputy King asked Todd to make some copies or something, he would get there, he would call Deputy King and say, "Deputy King, what do I do?" Did you know 200 known poisons are in cigarette smoke? Smoking is the #1 cause of lung cancer. When I grow up, I hope that people will finally understand that smoking and drugs are neither cool nor interesting. I always ask myself, why put something burning in your mouth? Why waste your life away on disgusting things? I hope my questions will soon be answered. I promise to make wise decisions about alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs.
Welcome back. Those were some great job by those kids at Thomas Edison. Next, we're going to take a look at the kids singing the D.A.R.E rap. They work really hard to get these words down. There's a lot goes into that, and they just get it just right every time. every graduation, one of our judges that show up at our D.A.R.E graduations every time have the kids take their oath. Students all raise their hand, they swear to stay off drugs, and we're going to take a look at the kids reading their oath right now.
Okay, kids, I want you to face your parents, raise your right hands, and repeat after me. I plan to keep from being pressured to use drugs. I plan to keep my body healthy. By not using drugs. If I have to decide whether or not to take a risk, I will define, assess, respond, and evaluate my choices. If a friend tries to pressure me to use alcohol or marijuana or any other drug, I'll say no. I promise my family and my community that I'll stay drug-free. Ladies and gentlemen, give these winners a hand.
When we come back, we're going to talk with some parents and some kids about the D.A.R.E program, what it means to the kids, and how much they enjoyed it. This is Sheriff Tim Donnellon serving St. Clair County. We are back at the Thomas Edison Elementary, and we just completed our D.A.R.E graduation for the night. And along with Deputy King, we've got some proud parents of a 5th grader, and we'd like to talk to you a little bit about D.A.R.E program. Cindy, go right ahead there with the microphone.
Well, this is Sarah Jex and her family, and Sarah has been chosen to represent Thomas Edison in the essay contest, and she only just found this out tonight. So we're wishing her luck in the contest, which is a combination of all the essays, one essay from each school who's taking D.A.R.E, and then they compete, and the winner wins $100. So we think that Sarah is probably wishing that, or hoping that she gets that $100. Sarah, were you surprised?
Yeah, I was like, I wanted to jump off my seat when I heard you. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Sarah didn't know until tonight that she was the one who's going to be nominated for the program. So did you hear, Jexus, did you hear about D.A.R.E while Sarah was taking D.A.R.E? Or?
Actually, Brian has a funny story about just a couple weeks ago. He was asking Sarah what her favorite class was, and she said, D.A.R.E. And we're like, D.A.R.E? And so she told us some of the funny stories that you were telling, and it really made an impact on her and her little sister because they've been around the house singing the D.A.R.E rap song.
They found this song
and
on
they
the
found
internet.
it. They found it on the internet, heard other
really?
schools singing it, and so they've been singing it around the house, and we've been just really pleased with the conversations that have come out of it. So thank you.
Well, wonderful.
Well, we just really appreciate D.A.R.E. I wish we had it when we were kids ourselves.
Isn't that the truth?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Jexus, and good luck again, Sarah. We'll let you know.
Yeah.
All right, thanks.
We are here at Thomas Edison Elementary. Our D.A.R.E graduation has completed for the night, and we are here with a proud 5th grade D.A.R.E graduate, Sydney, along with her father, David. Deputy King, why don't you introduce us and hear what they think?
Well, Thomas Edison just finished their D.A.R.E program, and tonight was their graduation, and Sydney was one of the really wonderful students at Thomas Edison. And we're just going to ask her some questions. Sydney, did you enjoy having D.A.R.E?
I really enjoyed it. It was a ton of fun.
And can you think of what your favorite lesson was? What do you think?
I liked when we did those skits about peer pressure.
All right.
Excellent. And did you think those skits will help you learn how to, or kind of prepare you for saying no to people?
I thought it'd prepare me because it's actually the lesson versus just learning about it.
Excellent, thank you. And what do you think, Mr. Hildebrand? Did you hear anything about D.A.R.E?
Yeah, it's a great program for the kids. Teach them young. That way they're able to learn and be able to say no, and saying no is very important.
Thank you, excellent.
Great opportunities. I wish they'd had when we were in 5th grade.
Absolutely.
Did Sydney bring a lot of this home to the kitchen table and tell you about some of the stories?
Yes, she was always excited about it and
All right.
eager to share what she learned through D.A.R.E.
Worked on her speech, wrote the speech. All right.
Absolutely.
Got the shirt. That's your uniform, just like I said. All right. Well, congratulations, Sydney. Good job. Congratulations, David.
Thank you.
We're here with another recent graduate of our D.A.R.E graduation tonight. This is Kathleen O'Connor, and along with her parents. So Kathleen, why don't you introduce your mom and dad and tell us a little bit about tonight? Gonna face this way.
This is my mom, and that's my dad.
And say what you think what did you like about the D.A.R.E program, Kathleen?
Learning about other facts, why smoking and drugs are bad for you.
All right. And Kathleen had one of the
Essays
tonight. All
did a
right.
great job.
I think she was the first or second speaker up there tonight.
You have the
Oh, were you the last? I didn't think you were. I remembered you.
Kathleen was one of the people in class who really participated. Does that surprise you, Mom and Dad?
Not at all. Not at all.
She's pretty.
She's proactive with
involved.
everything.
And did she come home and talk about D.A.R.E?
Yes.
And then did she share the stories, or what kind of things did she talk about?
She wouldn't share her story, her essay, because she said she wanted to surprise us and wait.
I bet she
But
did.
everything else, she was very excited about Deputy King and the involvement of all the students and just what she was learning, on a week-to-week basis, and bringing those things that she learned home and making sure that she's going to follow her oath.
I'm sure she will.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. We're here with another proud parent and a recent graduate of our D.A.R.E program, Kendall Keys, along with her mother, Melissa Keys, who is also one of our dignitaries tonight. Kendall, congratulations.
Thank you.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about the program, what you thought of it?
I really liked the program. I thought it taught us a lot about drugs and how much they can hurt you, and it's made a really good impact in my life.
All right, good job, Kendall. Well, Melissa, you did a great job tonight.
Thank you.
Told a wonderful story. Always very scary hearing those stories a little bit, but tell us a little bit. What did you think of the program? I know you buy in because you're in the business with us, but
There's no substitute for the D.A.R.E program. It truly is something that means a lot. It is as important as any other subject, whether it be math or spelling or science, because it really does teach these kids. It gives them the tools that they're going to need in order to make the right choices. And there's absolutely no substitute. We're so happy that we have it here at Thomas Edison, and I'm not only proud of my daughter, Kendall, but proud of all the fifth graders.
all right.
I wanted to say something. I ran into Mrs. Keys about maybe the fourth week of the program, and she said to me that, it was on a Saturday, and she said to me that she had always heard about the D.A.R.E program because the prosecutor's office comes to talk about it. But to hear about the program from her daughter was a whole different aspect of it, and it sort of surprised you, didn't you? Didn't you, Mrs. Keys? You kind of said that it sort of surprised you, just the level of what they were learning, and
It did. It really did surprise me about what they were learning, but also it surprised me about the humor that you, Deputy King, brought into the program, and I really did feel that that the humor that Deputy King brought into the program really helped the kids remember all of those important lessons that they taught, that you taught them. So we appreciate that.
well, thank you so much, Mrs. Keys and Kendall.
Congratulations, Kendall. Melissa, great job as
Thank you so
always.
much.
All right.
Congratulations. Thanks.
We're here with another recent graduate of our D.A.R.E program. We have Mom along with our future young generation of D.A.R.E coming up, along with Dad. Mom, why don't you introduce us and tell us what you think.
I'm Dawn Hork, and this is Kyle, my son, just recently graduating from D.A.R.E program. I found that the D.A.R.E is very beneficial for us as a family because it's hard to bring up these kind of topics with your child. The flyers that were sent home was easy questions to ask your child, which is actually hard questions to approach them with, and he actually came home and asked me the question, so I thought it was very easy and beneficial for him too.
Great icebreaker, absolutely.
Yes.
Kyle?
Kyle, I am so pleased to hear that you did that you not only brought the papers home, because they get a paper every single week that they're supposed to take home, and the parents are asked to kind of discuss that with the child, but I am so glad that you really did that with your parents, Kyle. That makes me feel really proud. What do you think was your favorite lesson in D.A.R.E?
My favorite lesson in D.A.R.E was when we got to make the posters.
When we made the posters, and they really did look wonderful in the
Very
gym,
nice.
didn't they?
All through the gym.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
How'd you like the speech? Yeah, that's a lot of work, isn't it?
Yes.
So what do you think? You ready for D.A.R.E? You want to say a little word or two? I know you're in first grade. Couple more to go? Not so sure? Okay.
Well, thanks so much for coming
You
tonight and
bet.
for sharing with us.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, I have a fifth grader that graduated from D.A.R.E this year as well. So like Melissa Key said, it's a different perspective to hear it from your kids. I go to a lot of D.A.R.E graduations. I have for many, many years, but it was entirely different to be asked the questions like you were tonight or to talk about it at the kitchen table. Because it's usually, we don't talk a lot of shop at home, but we did with the D.A.R.E program. And I felt more like a parent than a sheriff when it came to D.A.R.E this year. So
It's a good thing, Sheriff. Thanks.
thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Well, Cindy, D.A.R.E graduation's over at Thomas Edison Elementary.
It was a great time.
It was a good time. That's one of it's just always a great school, great parents, a lot of participation, and we're off to some more. We do them all fall, we do them all spring, and,
All winter?
all winter. I'm always looking forward to those graduations. We plug them into our Outlook, and there's a lot to this, isn't there? You know, when you talk about some of the major staples with the essays they write, the warning labels they write, the poster they make.
They're required to finish their workbook.
Finish their workbook, interaction with the parents, the oath. The oath is always kind of my favorite part of the graduation. And then the shirt, and like we tell them, that's their uniform. They're on our team. So there's a lot to this, and we do it in a lot of schools.
We do.
I really like the fact that we're able to stay committed to this. I mean, we've got 4 D.A.R.E officers. You do it full time. We have 3 others. We keep their qualifications. And, you know, in a world of shrinking budgets, we're still able to get this done. And we do it from one end of the county to the next. And this is general fund monies. This isn't a match from the school districts. This is our own values. It's our own ideas of what we feel are necessary and important for our kids. And we're going to continue.
We appreciate your support in this, Sheriff. Without your willingness to work with the D.A.R.E program, it just wouldn't be here.
Well, we're going to continue, and I said that when I took office, that we're going to continue. This is a valued program. My kids are D.A.R.E graduates, and I've got a couple more coming up yet, and I think it's something that we need to be able to do, and we're still funding it. And tell us about summertime, because I think a lot of people think, well, wow, what do you do in the summer? And you pretty much run this 12 months a year.
In the summer, we have a grant. It's partially paid by the Sheriff's Office, obviously, and also partially paid from a governor's discretionary grant. And it's actually a violence prevention program for 6th grade boys. And we use youthful mentors, which are high school students and college students, that work with the boys, and they do an education piece, and then they do a pretty intense violence prevention program. It's a really wonderful program also.
And I bet those mentors are all D.A.R.E graduates, aren't they?
They're all D.A.R.E graduates. We're lucky to have them.
Absolutely, got to have them. Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, it's a lot of fun attending these, and it kind of recharges your batteries when you see these kids out there. And,
they're very excited and they're very committed. It's a wonderful thing to see.
Well, they are excited, and that's the word I wanted to look for, is that we're committed to it too, that we're going to continue with this D.A.R.E program. It's so important to acknowledge the accomplishments these kids go through and to provide them that foundation, you know, to teach them to stay drug-free, to teach them about the violence and how to say no, all the different ways. How many are there?
9 different ways.
9 different ways to say no. Well, we want to say a special thanks for Deputy King.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Tremendous background in law enforcement. We were just so fortunate to land you in our department. And this is something, when you landed here, you've done everything in the world in police work. This is something you hadn't done yet.
Something I hadn't done.
So
it's a very fulfilling job.
It's a great fit for you. It's a great fit. We want to thank the parents, the students, and especially the staff of the Thomas Edison Elementary School. They are wonderful hosts for letting us into their school, letting us film the show. And we want to thank you again. And this is Sheriff Tim Donnellon serving St. Clair County.